Welcome to Spotlight. My name is Nwang Falong. As always, it's an honor to have you tune in and dedicate 1 hour of your evening to us. We promise to keep it relevant. Security in Africa has become a very important discussion. We also know that whatever happens in one corner of the world has far-reaching implications on all of us anywhere else. And for that matter, today we are focusing our discussion on an interesting prison break that occurred in Nigeria. Now, gunmen bearing machine guns and grenades stormed a prison in Nigeria last week. It's a very calm part of Nigeria in the southeastern part known as Imo State, specifically Owerri. They let loose any inmate who wanted to be let out. And to top that off, they burned down the prison. Now, 1,800 inmates were let out of jail. And this has become a very serious discussion for not just Nigeria, but the countries that surround Nigeria and even Ghana. We cannot have this conversation independently, of course. And so we are joined by the Savannah Regional Police PRO, who is ASP David Fiankun Ochri. We are also joined by a security analyst, Mr. Adib Sani, and a Nigerian journalist. He is the publisher and editor-in-chief of Eastern Lead newspapers, Declan Anaile. We're going to be delving into this issue, breaking it down and understanding the implications it has for not just the sub-region, but Ghana also. My name is Nwang Falong. You're watching Spotlight on MX24. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, Spotlight continues. Stay with us.
Opinions are like onions. Everybody has one.
Abortion is a no-no. As a human being, you must take responsibility for all your actions and inactions. Your misjudgment shouldn't be enough grounds to take a life.
No. I disagree with you because look, if you do not legalize it, people will go to quack doctors anyway who might end up not just kill the baby, but the mother as well.
Why should I waste my time, join a long queue under the hot sun to vote for a political party, knowing very well that nothing would be achieved at the end of the day?
Something will be achieved. It's your civic responsibility to turn out to vote. Vote and vote for a good leader.
Governments need to cater to every graduate, diversify the economy, invest in other sectors.
But the government cannot do it all. That is why we need the youth to take up the mantle and set up their own businesses. That is how we will create economic viability.
Here on Opposing Views, we take your views, my views, and the views of the experts and put them in the right context for you, our discerning viewers.
Guys, it's the girl Miss Drew, your hostess with the mostest. I'll see you in the next moment.
Welcome back to Spotlight. We are discussing a rather interesting subject today, the biggest prison break in Nigeria. 1,800 inmates let loose. It's a very worrying situation. We are joined in this discussion by a Nigerian journalist who is a publisher and editor-in-chief for Eastern Lead newspapers. His name is Declan Anaile. We're also joined by the Savannah Regional Police PRO Public Relations Officer, ASP David Fiankun Ochri, and a security analyst, Mr. Adib Sani. Gentlemen, welcome to Spotlight. Hello, gentlemen. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm with Declan and I'm here. I'm with you.
Fantastic. Mr. Declan, if you can hear me now, just begin with us and let us know what is the situation right now in Nigeria concerning this prison break.
Okay, once more, I am Declan. I did last edition of this program. At the moment, Nigeria and Imo State in particular, they are very, very conscious of security. 3 days ago, the Southeast governors, 5 of them came together, they had everything in the way, where they may agreed to float a new security outfit, which they named the Bago. The reason is for the formation is to help the Nigerian security agents, such as the police, to give them a kind of backing and force to be able to protect the country, which is lacking in insecurity. So that was one of the things the federal government, or rather the government of the Southeast, they did to ensure security. We also learned that, apart from formation of that, the government has also, the Southeast governors have started recruiting the people that want to do the job. Because what happens in the state, even as we see the people have started moving about their businesses, but the fear is still here. Like now, some of the roads in Imo State, especially, the roads to both the state government, the government headquarters, the police, the prisons. People don't take those roads again. Simply because of what happened. So I think what I can see, the Southeast governors are on top of what happened.
What kind of prison is this place? Is it a high security, medium security? What exactly is it?
It's medium. It's medium.
So the prisoners in this place, what caliber of crimes have they committed?
There are no specific crimes. It's a prison that marbles both like those who committed murder cases, they are there. Even those who also steal, and they are also there. But they are just in caliber. All of them are not in one cell. There are various types of cells, depicting the kind of crimes one committed. But all of them are just here, and these are the people that left the hook when that about over 1,800 of them left the hook. Though some of them are back on their own anyway, because federal government has to get them no matter where they are. Some of them on their own have returned, but the majority of them are still nowhere to be found.
How did this happen? Was it the work of the prisoners or entirely an independent break-in? Did the prisoners have anything to do with this?
Well, as a journalist, when the day the thing happened, we are alerted. That's the morning all of us went there. So the time we got there, the people that committed the crime, state government, state governors, the whole put on him, according to him, he said the people that carried, the people were sponsored by aggrieved politicians. So in other quarters, there is also allegation that the people that did that were members of the Eastern Security Network. That is, there was Eastern Network, a security outfit formed by the IPOB people, led by Nnamdi Kanu. So at the moment, nobody can say the certainty this was done by these people or the other people. But we are just, the only strength of what the governor says. Even the governor himself also said that the government is still investigating. So we are waiting for them to come up with a concrete evidence of the people that actually committed the crime.
Have these prisoners been identified, all of them?
Hello?
Have they all been identified, the 1,800 prisoners?
No. Just as I said, like over 100 on their own have been found. So other people are nowhere to be found. But the federal government says they must.
But are their names known?
No, they haven't been known. They have not been done.
Now, we also understand that there are some concerns that this may be the work of either separatist groups or terrorist groups. Have there been any extra information on that?
No, not at all. Just as I said, the government is still, everything besides, the government is still, I don't know whether to use the word confused, because the governor that day, said they were sponsored by aggrieved politicians. On even the Commissioner for Information in the state, that time they also said attributed the incident to IPOB or ECN members. So we are still waiting upon the government to tell us vividly the people that did that. So as it starts now, no particular group can be held responsible for that act.
So while you're waiting for the government to come and give more information, no group has owned up and taken responsibility?
Not at all, because even the IPOB members, their leader, Maazid Nazikano, said that was not done by the people. Even the people, the ECN and the Eastern Security, they also denied that their work is, they're always in the bush, preventing the Federal, Fulani herdsmen from coming down to eat, to kill people. So they have nothing to do with the government establishment. In summary, they were not part of what happened.
Right. Did I hear you mention that about 100 have been found?
Yes. According to the prison management, 2 days ago, they said over 100 people inmates on their own had returned. So they are still waiting for others to.
But 100 out of 1,800, that's not very encouraging. Eh?
Not at all.
How is the feeling in Imo State and in other states that are particularly close to Imo State? Because if you have 1,700 inmates on the loose, it can create some panic.
Yes, there's still fear in the state. So I said people have begun to move about their normal business as directed by the government. But people are still afraid. People are still telling that you don't know where the people in prison are. And when somebody was in the prison, maybe for some years, and the person, on his own, came out, there's still fear. Okay, like 3 days ago, so there was an indication that one of the escapees, one of the people that escaped, was burned. Because he went in retaliation to one man that gave evidence that led him into the prison. In retaliation, to deal with the person, people got him robbed, they killed him, they got him burned. One of the local government what they say. So what I'm trying to say is there is still fear. People are still scared. People are still afraid. They don't know whether the people that left that place are still around with them or they have left the state or the country. So there's still fear in the state.
I'm still interested in establishing their identities. Have the police or the state not released any pictures, specific names, videos?
At the moment, they have not done that. They are on that from what they said. They will soon make public the names of the not even the state. The federal government said, the time that they will make known the names and identities of the people that left the state. But they have not done that yet.
Now let's look at the prison itself and the facilities that were burned down. It looks completely razed down. Does the government intend to rebuild this prison and return the prisoners there, or will they be relocated?
No, the prison will not be completely razed down. At the moment, people are still, even those that returned, as well as those that did not run away, they are still here. The part of the prison was raised down, not just like the police station too. Okay. Part of it was also raised down, not complete.
Where were the policemen when this was happening?
Pardon?
Where were the police when this was happening?
Well, that is the question everybody, have been asking. Because the police, according to them, they were on ground when the thing happened. Now,
they didn't intervene.
What were they doing when this thing happened? That is the question everybody is asking.
Was any security person injured in the process?
No, not at all. We don't have.
But we understand one prisoner lost his life.
No, we don't have such a report. Nobody has told us what the police officer. No. I don't think nobody was caught. Nobody.
Right. So we've also been told that There have been several intelligence that was picked up before this incident occurred, informing the police that there is there's a suspicion of a imminent prison break. Why was nothing done? I mean, before this occurred, we understand that there were intelligence reports that hinted at the possibility of security breaches or prison problems. Why did the police not act upon these reports? Do you know?
Okay, well, before this incident, we are not aware of the intelligence report. Not until it happened. Yes, I know the director of SSS, on a broadcast, made it open that they informed the police as well as the state government about the incident that will happen. But they paved dirty yet to them. That was what the delegation demand, So, but before that incident, we were not aware of such intelligence report, not until it happened.
Can we blame this in any way on police misconduct, especially as some reports indicate that the police were made up by the DSS, raised some alarm, which was not investigated? Now, we also see that throughout this incident, we're asking questions of the whereabouts of the police, which is a question that has still not been answered. Can police misconduct in any way be attached to this?
Well, as a journalist, just as I said earlier that before this incident, we were not aware of the intelligence report by the DSM. But
which is usually kept private, right? They don't make these reports public for security reasons.
Yes. In as much as the thing has happened, if any person should be blamed, it's the security agents. Now, there are the people and know the best way to protect human life and property. Not you and not myself. So if there's any person to be blamed, you see the security, and though they say they informed about the incident before it happened.
How many prison breaks have occurred recently in Nigeria?
It's uncomfortable because, due to the answer that took place last year, a lot of prisons, we are born. But here in Imo, I think this is the first and the only time we hear about such incident in Imo.
Are there no concerns that this particular incident and the magnitude of it will embolden other prisoners?
Pardon?
Are there no concerns that this particular incident and its magnitude will have an effect on other prisoners in other prisons to disturb the peace?
Yeah, of course, it's possible. In fact, let me tell you, nowadays this thing happened, the neighboring state here, that is the Aja state, which was carved out of Imo State some years back. The governor immediately imposed coffee in the state because they were also scared. They got the hint too that the people that committed the crime here, they're also on their way to other states to do same. So the governor, what we did is smartly impose coffee in some parts of the state, Aba and I think Omaya. So the tendency is there that once this has begun to happen, if time is not taken, if it is not done by the security agents, it will also it moves to other states. Yes.
So have other prisons beefed up security in the wake of this incident?
Yeah, okay. I don't know about other states, but at least in Imo here, when that happened, the IG was said to have sent more security personnel in Imo to beef up the security here.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anaile Declan. We are so grateful for your report and for all that extra information concerning this prison break. Please stay on the line with us. We'll be coming back to you shortly. I want to quickly rope in Adib Sani, who is a security analyst here in Ghana. Mr. Sani, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, no.
Thank you. So we're just speaking to Mr. Declan Anaile. He's a publisher and editor-in-chief of Eastern Lead newspapers in Nigeria. And he was giving us some more information on what has come to be known as the biggest prison break in Nigeria, with a total of 1,800 inmates on the loose. About 100 of them have been identified. The rest are still unknown, including their whereabouts. What does this mean for Nigeria in particular?
Well, obviously, there's something wrong with Nigeria because a lot of the information we know for now defies logic. It doesn't make sense because under normal circumstances, there should be a database,
yes,
a computerized database of all prisoners, their biometrics,
their names, their pictures,
their next of kings, their addresses. You should have every information about every single inmate. That's the first thing. Secondly, there's always some level of security at the prison facility. And you have certain protocols to follow in case of a prison riot or in case of an infiltration. There's always a standardized, internationally accepted protocol that is followed. If you have to get reinforcement from elsewhere, it has to be done. But on this occasion, nobody knows where all the guards and the police officers were. Third, when there is a prison break of this sort, the first thing that is usually done is for a total shutdown of the state. And you don't need, under Nigerian, jurisprudence, you don't need the federal government to do that. Even at the, you don't need the central government, I should say. At the federal government stage, the governor can unilaterally take that decision to close down the state, so you don't have anyone coming in or going out. And that can be done when a state of emergency is imposed. So it would give you the opportunity to arrest as much as you can these prisoners who have been let loose. Time is of the essence. If at this point in time the Nigerian authorities haven't still published names or pictures or any information that can help the public identify these criminals and bring them back to the prison, and then I'm wondering what they are doing, because as time elapses, you will have more and more of these prisoners going out of state and perhaps beyond Nigeria into neighboring countries and even beyond. So this is posing a cataclysmic security nightmare.
Mr. Sani, break it down for our audience.
Okay. This is posing a complexing, so to speak, security nightmare to not just the Nigerian authorities who are proving inefficient on this occasion, at the wider West African sub-region. Because there's always a tendency of crime, of conflict spilling over to other countries as a result of how closely knit we are.
And let me just add some more information there. I mean, from my research, I did discover that they were alerted 3 times before this incident occurred by the DSS, who insist they had seen some interesting characters in the prison vicinity and had raised the alarm 3 times. I think the last one was about 72 hours or 48 hours before the incident occurred. Why was there no action taken up on that?
You can imagine, the kind of irresponsibility, the kind of negligence and unprofessional conduct that resulted in this prison break incident. If you have intelligence, what do? You quickly rise up to the occasion and put the necessary mechanisms in place so you prevent it from even happening in the first place. So I think, from my initial assessment of what happened, that there is some degree of internal complicity in what happened. Usually, prisoners cannot just get out on their own. They usually have internal or external people helping them perpetrate that act. We know full well that, yes, there were some militants involved, like you rightly mentioned in your introduction, with machine guns. But I think that going into the future, when they are going to do their investigation, they should start from within, because the level of nonchalance that went into this is what still I find very difficult to comprehend. But overall, like I said, it affects us all. Because in the past, there's been instances where fugitives, people wanted in Nigeria, are able to, as a result of the porous nature of our borders, come into Ghana. And their favorite destinations usually is either Kaswa or Ashaima. So it was very pleasant for me to see that notice come from the Ghana Immigration Service to the effect that all their units should be on standby, they should be on high alert. I think that is quite commendable, because that it illustrates some level of proactiveness aimed at preventing some of these hardened criminals from even coming into the country in the first place. And like
but Mr. Sani, we don't know their identities. How can we even say that we are preventing any such suspicious people from coming through our borders? Because we cannot just, extend it to all Nigerians in general. If we at least had specific information, then we can target our preventive measures. But we're just going to be fishing at this rate. Okay, I think we are having some problems with the line there with Mr. Sani. Unfortunately, can you speak again? Let me see if okay. So we are going to try to reconnect with Mr. Sani. In the meantime, we are discussing the biggest prison break in Nigeria. 1,800 inmates. It sounds like an action movie, but it is not an action movie. This is real life we're dealing with. 1,800 inmates in a real-life prison break have broken out of jail in Nigeria's Imo State, so very specifically. It is quite an alarming situation, especially for residents of Owerri, as these inmates have still to be identified by the police and security forces. The questions surrounding this are very, very many and very, very disturbing. Biggest question, where were the police when the incident occurred? Where were other security forces during this prison break? It's another question that we are still seeking answers to. We also want to know why they haven't been caught yet, why only 100, some 100 inmates have been rounded up and the rest are still not to be identified. Typically, the state should know exactly who is in what prison. We should know their names, we should know their faces, their identities, should be able to even trace their families. And then investigation can begin with the information that is known. But given that we know very little about the specific prisoners involved in this prison break, it is a situation that the states, Nigeria and other countries are hoping to be able to contain. And most importantly, where Ghana is concerned, trying to prevent any immigration breaches where we may have inmates involved in that prison break trying to make their way into other countries, including Ghana. So Ghana's immigration service, as well as the police, are on high alert, trying to avoid such an incident. We are speaking with Mr. Declan Enele, who is a journalist in Nigeria. He's a publisher and editor-in-chief of Eastern Lead newspapers. We're also speaking with Mr. Adib Sani on the phone there, but we had some connection issues, and we're just going to try to re-establish connection with him. We also have ASP David Fiankun Ochri. He's the Public Relations Officer of the Savannah Regional Police. Gentlemen, are you back online? Mr. Sani, are you back online? Hello, Mr. Sani. Mr. Adib Sani is a security analyst, and he was discussing with us the far-reaching implications of this particular jailbreak, especially in the Ghanaian context. And Mr. Anela, are you still on the line, please? Okay, I think we've lost Mr. Declan. Mr. Declan, if you can hear me, please just say hello. No, we do not have Mr. Declan on the line. But as mentioned earlier, we are discussing Nigeria's biggest jailbreak, a real-life action movie, unfortunately, and its implications on other countries, including Ghana. You're watching Spotlight on MX24, your home for fun, fearless, and factual content. We'll go for a quick break, and when we return, we'll go back to the conversation. Stay with us.
Angelina, you be cool in my temperature. If you call, say cheese, take a picture. Shaka pose, make a see, take a picture. In the leg book, boah. Why the party there today? Hey mama, hey I ever say.
Go on, my people. Welcome to XK. A boy's body count and a girl's body count matter differently.
Wow, ladies. Probably an experience, something that happened.
Is it a deal breaker in a relationship?
No.
The X Cave, and this show focuses on topics that are hot on the lips of our young people and presents it in an open, honest conversation.
Oh, look at him, he's crying, he's such a girl.
In other words, there are no liars on our show.
The man is the head of the home. The man is, quote-unquote, the breadwinner.
We come here with the truth.
We talk of something being toxic. It's something which is harmful or unpleasant.
Stay glued to the television for the hottest show on TV.
Welcome back to Spotlight on MX24 television. My name is Nuong Falon. Before that break, we were discussing Nigeria's biggest prison break with 1,800 inmates on the loose in Imo State, Owerri specifically. We spoke with a Nigerian journalist who situated the situation for us. And we also spoke with the security analyst, Mr. Adib Sani. And now we're speaking with ASP David Fiankun Ochri. He's the PRO of the Savannah Regional Police. Hello, ASP. Welcome to Spotlight, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good afternoon to you and your listeners as well.
Thank you. We are grateful for your time. Now, the question I was asking Mr. Sani before his line went off was, we are on high alert in Ghana, but how are we working when we have very little information in terms of the identity of these inmates? How can we best approach this situation, identify people, screen people that are coming in through our borders when we do not know their identities?
Yeah, the identity of these individuals that have unfortunately fled the police at the district known as Sandema is not something that we are hiding. I told you the other time that there's a need for us to go through the process. There are legal processes before you can declare someone wanted.
Mr. Ochri, hold on there. I think, what I was asking is not the Sandema prison break, but, we've had an incident in Nigeria.
Okay.
Yes, 1,800 inmates have broken out of jail in Nigeria. So the concern I'm expressing there is that these inmates may come into the country you know, they will attempt to flee their country. And Ghana is a popular destination for most Nigerians. You understand?
Yeah, I hope you are aware that our territorial borders have been closed to human trafficking.
Yes,
so
but
nobody can come to Ghana just like that.
But we have flights still operating.
Come again?
We have flights still operating.
Yes, and there are 50 personnel at the place who, as assist you, may have this information that you are just giving out. And so there is nothing for anyone to hear. For us on the land, I am saying that our borders have been closed, and we have our personnel who are manning the borders, both approved and unapproved ones. As I speak to you now, the Operation Conquest State personnel have been in the Upper East region for close to 2 years now.
Okay.
And they are ensuring that nobody from any part of our borders enter into Ghana without going through the process.
Okay. Now just for the benefits
it will
of...
interest you to also note that the police in Upper East region, in about 3 weeks in a row, have arrested about 135 of these suspected immigrants, I should say, and handed over them to the immigration service. In one of the cases, or two, I can confidently say, we supported the immigration service with our buses and our logistics. So they were repatriated at the border. So for police in the Upper East region, when it comes to security, working.
Mr. Fianco, that's very good information. But for the benefit of our viewers, let me just update that also in Ghana, we have had, prison breaks, although smaller in magnitude, but still very worrying. The most recent ones, we've recorded 2 successful jailbreaks in Ghana taking place at Sandema. Now, Mr. Fianco will just bring us up to speed with that. Now, Mr. Fianco, have any of them been caught?
Yes.
How many?
In fact, the media, you also have a role to play for us to be able to effect some of these arrests. And our terminologies will also either heighten tension or bring the tension down.
What do we look out for? What do people look out for?
If we say that there has been a jailbreak, in fact, in the human rights perspective or humanitarian work, it's a bit worrying. What has happened in Sandema is about prisoners that have fled our cells under circumstances which is still under investigation. We are saying that the public should help us to receive them. As I speak to you, we have been able to recapture one who have been sent to prison.
One out of how many? How many are still on the loose?
Yeah, for now we have had the pictures and details of about 3 of them. Whilst one of them has been recaptured.
Okay.
And has been sent to court and has been sentenced to 24 months in prison. And so we are saying that it's not about a blame game as of now. It's about how we can be able to recapture all of these people so that they do not become a threat to society.
Right. Mr. Fianco, you say we need to recapture them. The public needs to be involved in the recapture. But what can the public do? What do they even look out for before they report someone if they get suspicious?
Yes. Last time I gave a clue as to what the signs people will have to look at an individual to see that this person has a big jail, as you want to put it, or a place jail. Usually they are with one dress and they go into communities that they virtually have no idea of the place. So when you see strangers in your community, you can question them and pass on that information to the police. who will come in immediately to address the issue. So we can also, as I'm telling you, after we speak, I will bring their pictures on board for you, the media, to see it and also begin working.
Thank you. But if the producers have the pictures, please just roll it on the screen. If not, we will roll that later today on the news. But Mr. Fianco, thank you so much for giving us some more information on this break. But going forward, how can we ensure that these incidences are not repeated? It seems prisoners are getting very bold and keep attempting to break out.
Yeah, I am sure you are aware that this incident has just happened just this month. We have been in the upper prison for about 5 years now. We haven't recorded any incidents of anybody.
Oh, Mr. Fianco, I actually mean not just Sandema, you know, the rest of Ghana and other countries.
So let me, I'm coming. So what we are saying is that we are doing everything possible to ensure that this thing do not occur. This is because we have put enough measures in place. As I speak to you now, the Upper East Regional Police Commander himself has visited most cells in the Navrongo division. That is where the Sandema is also part, and the Paga, and all the border lines, and to prepare some measures for them to put in place to ensure all our cells are fortified. So I can assure you that we are on course to ensure all our cells are fortified so that such an occurrence will not be
repeat itself. Right. Thank you so much, ASP David Fianco Ochiri, who's a public relations officer for the Savannah Regional Police. We're grateful for your time and for putting some more, giving us light into the situation that has occurred in Sandema. Thank you to you for staying with us throughout this 1 hour, and thank you for your contributions. If you have any, join us on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. Let us know what you think. If you see any suspicious activities or any suspicious individuals in your neighborhood, please let the police know. Report it as quickly as possible. Mr. Adib Sani is back on the line. And hello, Mr. Sani.
Hello, no.
Thank you for joining us again. The line was it was difficult to hear over there. Now, before you went off, what I was asking was that there is very little information known about the identity of these prisoners who have broken out of jail in Nigeria. So when we say our immigration is on alert, how exactly are we going to be on alert with little information as to who we are looking out for?
Well, first, we are paying for somebody else's inefficiency. However, there's still a window of opportunity for us to mitigate the effects of the prison break in Nigeria. One, we need to improve intelligence gathering in the area. And like I always say, intelligence gathering doesn't just have to be the preserve of the intelligence gatherers. I think there's the need for a state-local collaboration. Because the locals, they know their towns, they know their villages, they know themselves. So if they see a new person come into town, they are able to identify. But if you are from Accra, you are assigned to a post in Sandema, you don't know anyone there. So it becomes very difficult. So I think that there's the need for that collaboration, and it would help to a very large extent. Secondly, we need to enhance the vetting mechanism. So if you see a group of young men coming to town without giving any valid reason for their travel or whatever they are coming to Ghana for, if they don't have any, valid propositions about where they are going to stay or what work they do, etc., that could also raise some eyebrows. Usually, immigration officers and other security agents are trained, especially trained to be able to use what we call ego dialectics, the use of question and answers to get to the truth, based on the person's disposition, their mannerism, person's eye contact, whether the person is sweating or not. You are able to use those special skills to be able to tell
but
that, hey,
you know what? Usually prisoners are quite sophisticated, and they also know that these are the things that people will be looking out for. Do you think they will just give themselves away like that? They will plan their answers before they even approach any immigration.
I agree with you to a large extent. And one more thing. You don't have the bad guys coming through the main border crossings. Hello, open the door, I want to come in. No. They take advantage of certain persons who take monies to traffic people and goods using unapproved routes under the radar. So that is why I said, look, it is important to involve the communities because we cannot ensure security all around. Okay, and when you go to the border areas, you realize that most of the security is concentrated at the main approved border crossings, but there are a lot of unapproved routes. That is why it is important to involve the locals, the communities through their chiefs and other opinion leaders. So at least they are also able to take part in the security management process. But with proper intelligence, I'm sure as much as the criminals plan and execute, we should be able to break that jinx or cycle.
Mr. Sani, the most worrying part is that this situation is not peculiar to Nigeria, and we have recorded some jailbreaks in Ghana too. The most recent being in Sandema. Now, don't we see that inmates are getting brazen and bolder by the day?
Yes, it is so. It's not the first time, and it is sad to note that if we don't change the protocols, we would have more and more of it happening. I remember some time ago there was an attack on the Kwabinya police station, resulting in the death of an inspector, and some inmates were also let loose. Ashama and other places. It is quite worrying, and it is partly as a result of negligence to some extent, because where you detain, where you keep, you house sometimes very dangerous elements who have murdered, some have decapitated. It is common knowledge that you provide some level of security. No, I'll ask a question. How many police stations require that you are subjected to at least metal detector checks before you get into that vicinity or that environment? No, we don't have anything of that nature. The security at our various police stations and other detention facilities is so porous to the extent that Combien, some time ago, a very notorious armed robber, was imprisoned in Tamale, and I understand he applied water on the walls over a long period of time until such a point that he made it so soft. He escaped, and by the time he was caught, he had inflicted so much damage. So we need proper security beneath, above, on the sides, because they, usually have strong iron rods under. We need to invest in modern technology, access control systems, motion sensors, alarm systems that would actually complement the efforts of the human beings providing security at the detention facilities. Even armories in Ghana are compromised. How much is a CCTV camera? Because in the past, on the heel of the attack on the Kwabinya police station, I heard the vice president say categorically that they are going to provide CCTV cameras for all police stations around the country. Unfortunately, to date, we are yet to see those CCTV cameras. So I'm saying that there should be better commitment towards improving security at these places. And we need to make it deterrent enough. When you attempt to escape, your prison sentence should be so punitive that other prisoners would not even think about it. Unfortunately, that is not what we see. And that is what is emboldening more and more of these people into wanting to escape.
But this is very dangerous, because if these things continue to occur, then it sends a message to other prisoners that if it's successful in other places, then it means they can also carry out a successful jailbreak. And that becomes a very grave security situation on all of us.
Yes, it is. Because usually when you go through the court process, you have witnesses who come to testify against some of these prisoners. And when they have an opportunity to come out, they might want to engage in retribution of some sort. They might want to pay back. So there's a lot at stake. The security of the people is paramount. So when you have dangerous elements like this get back into society, they might do anything, to ensure their freedom or to ensure that those persons responsible, even including the police officers who investigated them before they went to prison. So it is quite worrying. That is why we have to take practical measures to prevent it from happening again. If not, no, this would be another discussion. Then after 2 weeks or so, it goes dead. It becomes old news. We don't report it again until the next prison break happens. So I think that it is very important. And we need a database, a very robust database for that matter, because I expected that at least by this time, we should have had their pictures all over the place, their names. I don't know what is going on. Because if anyone is going into prison, we have what we call a mug shot. You take pictures, you take biometrics of the person. So in case of any prison break, the person's face is all over the news. And you would have had, the communities helping make sense of the situation. So these dangerous elements are sent back to the prison. Unfortunately, to date, we've not seen anything of that nature. And in criminology, time is of the essence. The more time you waste, the more difficult it becomes making sense of the situation. So I think by and large, there's been some degree, it's a multiplicity of issues at stake. Negligence, irresponsibility, unprofessionalism, lack of commitment. And I must say, it is quite disturbing. And it's emboldening more and more of these criminals into wanting to do the same line.
Mr. Sani, I was pondering over something, and you're the security analyst. You should tell us if it's even possible. So I was thinking, what if there is a bigger terrorist threat that is hiding behind this incident, that has probably just created this situation to throw the security forces off a more important incident?
Well, mind you, ISIS was created in a prison in Iraq when al-Baghdadi was detained. It becomes, you see, the prisons, unfortunately, instead of being correctional facilities, rather end up hardening people the more. So it becomes a fertile recruiting ground for all sorts of criminals, whether it is organized crime, traffickers of weapons or drugs, or even terrorist elements. And I am particularly distressed about this because Sandema is near Burkina. And we know what's going on in Burkina. The Burkina situation is so bad to the extent that a one-time U.S. Forces Commander in Africa, General Michael Hicks, said, we seem to be losing the fight against terrorism in sub-Saharan Africa, with particular reference to Burkina Faso. So if we are not careful, and these elements find their way into the prison system and they are able to stage such audacious breakouts, then we should really have every reason to be worried about. That is why when you go to other jurisdictions, especially where the terrorism threat is so potent, they have officers, special agents who they immerse into the prison system, make them appear like fellow prisoners, so they are able to gather intelligence about what is going on in there. I wonder whether it is the same in Ghana. But if it were so, I'm sure we would have been able to prevent this incident from even happening in the first place. I must say, it's quite disturbing for those of us with that, third security eye.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sani, for joining us, for giving us your time, and for giving so much insight into the incident. We are very, very grateful. And we can see clearly that there is an increasing need for greater investment in security systems across Africa, in Ghana, to improve security systems and processes, and to ensure that as criminals get more sophisticated, the system also gets sophisticated enough to quickly apprehend and curtail some of these issues before they blow up into something bigger. You have just watched Spotlight on MX24. My name is Nwang Falong, and we were joined by Mr. Declan Anaile, who is a journalist from Nigeria. We're also joined by DSP David Fiankun Ochri, the PRO for the Savannah Regional Police, and he gave us more context about the situation, the prison break that happened in Sandema. We were also joined by Mr. Adib Sani, who is a security analyst, and they enriched this conversation. We hope that you were able to pick out some relevant information from the entire discussion. Thank you for staying with us. My name is Nwang Falong. Stay with us for more important programs. Good evening.
Wagwan! What's happening in the world of entertainment?
And what's trending in the world of lifestyle?
You say, where you depon? Where you depon?
Where you depon?
Alright.
Join me, Miss Drew.
And me, Kevoy. Mondays to Fridays, 10 a.m. for all the fun.
When I give my attack, oh, you defend.
The hot gossip.
So Ghana, I see everybody they post in frame for his story.
The highlights.
With MX Breaks.
An idea for an app that is going to center around fashion.
And everything that you need to know.
Little more, big up yourself.
Opinions are like onions. Everybody has one.
Abortion is a no-no. As a human being, you must take responsibility for all your actions and inactions. Your misjudgment shouldn't be enough grounds to take a life.
No. I disagree with you because look, if you do not legalize it, people will go to quack protests anyway who might end up not just kill the baby, but the mother as well.
Why should I waste my time, join a long queue under the hot sun to vote for a political party, knowing very well that nothing would be achieved at the end of the day?
Something will be achieved. It's your civic responsibility to turn out to vote. Vote and vote for a good leader.
Governments need to cater to every graduate, diversify the economy, invest in other sectors.
But the government cannot do it all. That is why we need the youth to take up the mantle and set up their own businesses. That is how we will create economic viability.
Here on Opposing Views, we take your views, my views, and the views of the experts and put them in the right context for you, our discerning viewers.
Yes, guys, it's your girl, Miss Drew, your hostess with the mostest.